click is ETG. Eat the goose. Eat the goose. Yeah,
Introducing the 2 racks a week challenge.
Don't shoot. Which I need some proof. Just watch my videos, man.
Video and then,
2 racks a
just
week.
showing all your 2,500. I said, okay. All right, that's good with that.
68 hours, so it was $2,075.60.
I work like 70, I don't remember, like 73, 74 hours. I made like 3,400, close to 3,500.
I made $2,001.
62 hours, and I had 2,400.
Introducing the 2 racks a week challenge.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have another winner of the 2 racks a week challenge, man. Here we have Anthony. Anthony, do a quick introduction. Let them know which market you driving in and which platform or platforms you drive on.
My name's Anthony. I drive in the Atlanta market and I drive strictly Uber.
Okay, strictly Uber for sure. Shout out to Atlanta. This is another Atlanta. Have you seen the previous 2 racks a week winner? He's from Atlanta.
Yep, that was exactly why I went and did this, because I'm sure as you saw, like with the screenshots, like I hit the 2 racks the first time a while ago.
Right.
But then when I saw, but I didn't think to, just go ahead and do that and, get my shirt and everything like that. But then when I saw Buddy come on like a week or 2 ago, I was like, let me go ahead and do it again and then get on here and get mine. So,
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
because of him, I'm here right now.
All right. Shout out to Sid, man. Shout out to Atlanta and shout out to yourself, for being willing to accept the challenge and go out there and seeing what you made of. And we're going to show the screenshots here in a moment. Let's get a quick, background about yourself and how exactly did you get involved into, driving Uber?
Well, I was looking for something to do part-time because I've been at my last job for a few years and I had, a couple years ago I got into day trading.
Okay.
And so once I finally turned the corner and started actually like making some money, I was like, okay, I really don't want a full-time job anymore. I just kind of want something on the side that can still, bring me in some money just in case I don't, make money, like any particular week or anything like that. So I was just looking for side hustles and wasn't nothing really looking too appealing. But then I just thought like, I always hear about, gig work all the time. So let me just look into Uber and then just quick research. I end up somehow stumbling upon your channel. I see 2 racks a week. I'm like, okay, that don't sound bad. If I can make 2,000 a week doing this like on the side, like I could work with that. So a little more research and then started driving.
All right, not too shabby. And you said how long ago was this? Because my bad, I got distracted by these damn sirens that was, going on over here.
When I found your channel and decided to do it all, it was probably around, I think, like May last year.
Okay, last year. That's
so 2024.
That's when you started to really tap into like the day trading.
Well, yeah, that was
Okay.
yeah, when things started to come around. So I was like, all right, I need to not be working like a job so much so I can focus more here.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely understand. I think that's why most people, sign up because they want that freedom, the feeling of autonomy,
the flexibility,
and the flexibility.
Yes.
What about it as far as like, why did you like desire this, flexibility? Because it's always talked about, like on the internet or just people, but yeah, I want to, be flexible, work for myself. Like, why was that important to you?
Just because I've been in that position before where I've had jobs where I had that flexibility. Like I was a personal trainer before I started my last job. Um, but I stopped when COVID happened
Hmm.
because they shut the gyms down. We didn't really know like what was gonna happen, so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just bounce.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been in a position where I had a schedule like that, which I like having that freedom, because you never know, last minute, family might come into town,
Right.
something like that. You may not be able to, put in PTO or get the day off, and having that flexible schedule, I can just say like, okay, well, I can just go do whatever. I can go, make up that time later. So,
Right. No,
so yeah,
no.
flex.
Yeah, man.
Go
That's
ahead.
important because, I kind of fell into it by accident. I just started, driving, trying to get back in school. Then I was working a part-time job and driving on pretty much part-time to create like a full-time schedule. Then once I went seasonal on my other job and I was just driving full-time, now then I really, learned about like the value of my time, just working for yourself, and it
Yeah.
completely changes your life once you go on a hour plus hour and a half lunch break eating sushi. The next you taking sake bombs or something. It's
Yep.
like, dang, I couldn't do this if I had a job. And you just go
Right.
home and feeling good. And also, I'm not sure how you were at a job, prior, but man, if you wanted some time off, you got family coming to town, or you want to go somewhere, if you got to find somebody to switch schedules with you, or what I
Yep.
often did was I just lied. I'm like, oh, I got a death in the family. Just to make sure I get the days off.
Right.
Yeah. So man, that autonomy, being on your own schedule, is definitely important. And there's not too many, jobs that you can make, pretty good money and also, have that sense of, flexibility, right away. You
Yep.
know? Yeah, so why so like was there anything else besides like Uber like that you were, contemplating with, or you like, oh, I think Uber is like the best, solution.
No, mostly Uber kind of came down to be the best thing because everything else I was looking at, like any other side hustle, you could just, I guess, see it would like take a good bit of work and like some
Yeah.
time before it, got to the point where it's starting to bring in money. And I'm
Right.
just like, yeah, I'm not trying to do that because, once I put in the work to get that going, I might as well do that full time and, blow
Yeah.
that up. So,
No,
so
that's
yeah,
that's
no, that's why
mhm.
Uber, it just seemed like the simplest thing. I could just, get a car and get started right away. So,
Right. No, you're 100% right. And you don't hear too many people even mention that, is because it's not, like I said, it's not too many things that you could jump into right away and start to make money. Because if you want to, start an online business or whatever endeavor that you choose, it's always some type of learning curve.
right.
And that learning curve may take time, mentorship, additional money, and stuff like that. But this is a way to start making money, right away. All right. So once you signed up, I know it had to be, some people, some naysayers, or maybe came across some type of like videos or articles like, man, it's not worth it. They don't really make, a bunch of money. The earnings is low. Like, what was your mindset going into it?
Um, in person, I didn't have any naysayers. Think I've
Okay.
kind of been fortunate in life in that way. I've never really had, people hating like that in life.
All right.
Definitely saw it online. Looking, all the videos, saying, oh, why you shouldn't drive Uber anymore. Nobody makes money doing this, da da. Da. But, like I said, doing some of the jobs I've done in the past and everything, anytime I hear, stuff like, oh, the market's oversaturated. Oh, so many
Yeah.
people doing this, you can't make money. For me, that's just kind of a trigger. Like, okay, you just don't know what you doing, and I know
Okay.
some ballers out there really making money.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking for, and that's how I stumbled on you. Um, it was a couple of others. I know like the rideshare millionaire dude, and it
Okay.
was it was somebody else. And so, but I saw your like 2 racks a week thing, and I was just like, that seems like a decent goal to go after. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, my job, and like I said, I was not in a situation where I was like hurting for money or anything like that. Like financially, I'm straight.
Okay.
So I was trying to, figure out, okay, well, I drive a BMW, so I'm like, I'm not about to go out there with that.
Right.
So I was like, okay, what kind of car do I need? I heard you say, to go and get a Prius. I'm on Reddit looking like unanimously, everybody's just saying like, get a Prius, get a Prius, get a
Oh,
Prius.
for
So
real? Okay.
yeah, so everybody's saying if not a Prius, then they would say, a different hybrid.
Okay.
But Prius by and large was like the winner. So I was like, okay, so I found some little dealership that like only sold Priuses here. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Wow.
But I got like a little 2014 for like 7 bands. So I was like, all right, we good. I was out there.
Right. And the rest was history, man.
Yep.
Shout out. That's what I like hearing, taking action and, not believing the naysayers, because there's always people out here that's going to hate or have, a negative experience. And more often than not, what you figure out is a lot of these individuals with negative experience, they really not working, or, they come from a place of entitlement where they just
Right.
want it to be easy, want to give it to them. And unfortunately, it's not like that. You get it, you get what you put in. That's the outcome.
Exactly.
All right. So now, once you got out there, like, how was your experience? Was this like, damn, this is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be? Was it challenging? Um,
No, it was actually a lot easier.
mhm.
I was kind of I'm sure, other people have probably done it too. I was just kind of a little anxious
Yeah.
because I'm like, I don't know how this works. People gonna be, coming into my car. I don't want to mess nothing up.
Right.
But, as soon as I started the app, it told me where to go. I get there, person standing outside, they just get in my car and I accept the ride. I'm like, oh, that's it. And then I drop them off. I'm like, okay, like this really ain't that bad. Like, okay, but
Right.
so then we just kept going.
Yeah, exactly. People, I could get it, man, especially if you haven't had any experience. People getting in, it's a stranger. And I think what happens is a lot of people hear and see all this stuff on the internet, all the crazy shit that happened,
Yeah.
people getting robbed and, all the unfortunate things. I mean, that's going to happen. And in the like industry, you can find shit that
Yeah.
going at Popeyes, Walmart, McDonald's, whatever. All that stuff is going to hit the media, of course, because that's what get clicks and get views, and that's what sells. But if you
Right.
think about all the thousands and thousands of trips that people take, most of it's just people get in, they ask the same questions, and they get out, and that's pretty much it. It's real smooth.
Yeah. That was what was kind of surprising to me because I didn't know how, people would be, but and I've heard you say before that like everybody's the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how most people, get in, be on their phone, got their AirPods in, like
Yep.
they not even it's it was funny to me just how unaware just some people could be.
Oh my
Like
God.
they in the backseat driving, of course, you trying to, make sure, you driving safe, everything like that. You ain't trying to be slamming on the brakes, making
Right,
turns like
right,
that or
right.
whatever. But it'll be times that I'm driving, somebody might cut me off. I gotta slam on the brakes. So I like look back there and like apologize. And they look up like, huh, what happened? I'm just like, dang, you ain't even noticed that?
Man, they don't notice
But
anything. And
oh,
half of them, like, you go to drop them off, and they just in their phone, like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you supposed to turn right there. I'm like, damn, man, pay attention. Then,
right,
like, they'll have their headphones, like, oh, like, I'm sorry. I'm like, bro, like, it was just, like, you in your subdivision.
right.
Like, pay attention. But,
So
you're right, man. That's exactly how it is. Did you like were you struggling with anything particular? Like had to, overcome like any challenges like throughout your like what year and a half like journey?
no, it wasn't many challenges because initially I started driving, I think like July last year was
Okay.
when I first started. But something happened at work and this dude like on the opposite end of like the week that I worked, like ended up getting fired.
Damn.
So me and a couple of guys on my shift had to cover his days. So it was like hella overtime. So I only drove part time for maybe like a month or two, and then I stopped because I was just like, I'll just run it up with the overtime at my job. But I quit in January.
Okay.
So I quit in January. I put my 2 weeks in.
January of
Um,
this year, right?
Yeah, of this
Okay.
year. So I was officially done like February. I took that first week off and then I started driving, like putting full-time hours in after that.
Okay.
So that very first time I hit the 2 racks was, I think, the second week that
Second
I
week.
was driving
Okay.
um those full-time hours. So there wasn't really many challenges. It was funny because that week that I got that first 2 racks, like I said, I did not skip any rides. I wasn't like picking and choosing.
Oh, you
Just
accepted
if
everything.
the ride popped up, I accepted it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't start like, getting selective about my rides till after that.
Okay. No,
Cause
man, that's good.
yeah, cause like you said, you gotta like, learn your market. And I still felt like I hadn't done enough because when in February, when I really started driving, I couldn't have had more than 500 rides done.
Hmm.
Like I didn't have that many.
Hmm.
So I was just like really trying to just, okay, well, let me see what happens. I just accept everything. Yeah, you end up in some weird city sometimes, kind of like, be like an hour outside of the city. Now I gotta like
Yeah.
drive back, stuff like that, So now I know, where to go, where not to go, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that because that's just further confirmation of what I'm saying. Like if you knew you don't have many trips, to simplify it and make your experience a lot smoother or better is just accept everything. Just take your time. Learn. The trips aren't going nowhere. And like
Right.
if you accept everything, you put your hours in, it's easy to make adjustments from there. But if you just picking and choosing and you all over the place, one, you'll get frustrated. Two, you won't know like what to do or what to expect. So, you see right there, he just accepted everything in his market. Bam, 2 racks right then and there, man.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't apply to everywhere, but in Atlanta it
Yeah,
worked. So
yeah, yeah. So before we get to like the screenshots, people probably gonna be wondering like, all right, so like what times do you drive? Like what's your schedule? Like how do you structure yourself?
um I drive overnight.
Okay, night,
So
yeah.
and that's mostly just because, and again, because I day trade, like I need to be like at my computer and everything in the morning by like usually between 7 to 8 o'clock
Would you
in
trade
the
the New
morning.
York session
Yeah.
or is
So
that
I
the
gotta
end?
be there in the morning. So I drive overnight. So usually I usually leave at like 6 o'clock PM and I'll drive till like 6 in the morning.
Okay.
So then I can get off, get home, trade for a few hours. Fortunately, I'm a person that I don't really require much sleep. So anywhere like 3 to 5 hours, I'm good for the day. So I'll
Okay.
trade, go to sleep, wake up, work out, right back out on the road.
Mm,
So, but yeah, I drive overnight from 6 to 6.
okay. Yeah, there
So,
you go. And he got the whole schedule: drive, trade, and still have enough time, to hit the gym and get a workout in.
yep.
How long did it take for you to create, that structure for yourself? Because a lot of times, it's like a fight, Because one, you got to figure out driving, like your driving schedule on what could be optimal for you, depending on if you got a bunch of responsibilities or not. Then you try to incorporate times that you could do, other things. Like for you it was day trading, so that's like the thing for you. Or if somebody was working on, you know, getting a certification for another job, or if they in school or trying to start a business and working out. How long did it take for you to create that perfect system for yourself?
It didn't take any time, and only because, and the reason I even chose to drive that schedule was because that was basically my work schedule
Yeah,
that I just
fair
left.
enough.
So, when I was driving part time while I was still at that job, yeah, I just drove that same time. So it's basically I was just working every day. So yeah, when I just started driving, yeah, I just stuck to that same time. I do have a dog. It works with my
Okay.
dog, like, so I don't have to, in the middle of the day, like come home to make sure she's straight.
Yeah.
Like she usually be sleep, so I'll leave, come back in the morning, I can take her out. Like it just works out for everybody that way. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And yeah, so got everything all situated, because like I said, man, the schedule is the hardest thing to like that foundation. If you're not used to, working for yourself or you're not really self motivated and you having everything structured for you, this, excuse me, this for a lot of people, struggle. Cause like, oh, now what I do? I got all this time, and they start to feel overwhelmed, like they don't know how to create that structure, and it's like,
Right.
they just be bouncing off the wall. So, all right, now
Right.
let's get to these numbers real quick. So I got your screenshots that you had sent. Hold up, why am I missing one? So you sent 4. I only got 3. Let me see something.
Which weeks do you have? I can send you whichever one
I'm
you're
just
missing
missing
if you
one.
need it.
No, I just got to I just got to send it because I downloaded them. It's only gonna take like a couple seconds. All right, got it. Let me share my screen. Oh, what the hell? Oh, what is this? Hold on, let me stop this.
It looked like you just went to like the webcam.
Yeah, hold up. I don't know. Oh, that's why. All right, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can.
I hit the wrong screen. I'm like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought to resend you that one because the information didn't pop up. I don't know why that week acts so funny. How it says like sorry for the delay at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have the screenshot from when I actually hit it because it was $2,022.22. And I
Oh,
took a screenshot
yeah.
then when it happened. But yeah, what happened there after when I pull it up now, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, you probably got a tip or something probably came in.
Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
that a lot of
But
times that's what happens. It's like you'll take a screenshot, then okay, I made
but yeah, cause
2014.
cause all the information's out. I was gonna say it was
Oh yeah,
70.
I ain't even noticed that.
Yeah, it was 77 hours. I'm looking at it now in 9 minutes, 162 trips and 354 points.
Okay, all right. So 2000, and that was the first time you made 2000.
Yeah.
Once you went full time.
Yep.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like that goes to show, like if you could actually commit yourself to the goal that you can hit. I mean, of course, it's gonna be different for everybody depending on their market and their level of seriousness and consistency. But you could do it as quick as 1 week. I see on Thursday you made $500. Do you remember like what happened that day? Was it a bonus, something crazy going on in the
I'm
city?
sure it was some bonuses that
Mhm.
hit that day. And that week could have been so much more because that very next day was Valentine's Day.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
and I really wanted to drive that day, but I wasn't finna get out and like not doing something with Shorty. So I was just like, man. And I know it was
Yeah.
bad too, because when I started driving that Saturday, I swear, like everybody getting in the car is like, "Oh man, I know you made a killing yesterday. They had so many surges, like they were charging, extra $20 per
Oh,
ride." I'm like, man,
like man, don't tell me that, man, because I
right.
wasn't. I don't even want to know.
So no, that could have
Yeah.
been so much more, but yeah, no, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a bonus that hit that Thursday.
Okay. All right. Let's go to next week. So here we go. Another week. Back to back. 74 hours, 37 minutes, 168 trips, $2,008. Not too shabby. So, do you remember anything from this particular week? Because you see it. I mean, of course, you didn't have a $500 day. So I assumed that there for this week, it looked like there was no
Yeah,
bonuses or incentives. This is right.
this one I think was just regular, like just regular, just driving. Like I said, at this point, I had started to get selective with my trips. So
Yeah, and this all with the Prius, correct?
yep. Well,
Okay.
actually, no, it was not with the Prius. Yeah, no, it was that first week that I hit that 2 grand. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. I kind of wrecked the Prius because it was
Okay.
like raining. It was raining that Thursday, I think. It was raining. And I remember I was in this neighborhood. This deer like jumped out the trees like right in
Damn.
front of my car. So I'm like, to the right of me was just the trees that it came from. To the left was like this little like island in the middle of the road. So I had to make a decision. So swerved into the island. It ended up cracking the engine.
Damn.
And so I had a cylinder that was like leaking in there. So that was it was an issue finishing out that week. Cause as I'm driving, the engine's starting to misfire. So every time I start accelerating it, like jerking.
Yeah.
I think it damaged the water cooler also.
Damn.
And so that was starting to overheat. Like symbol kept popping up on the dashboard, like because I wanted to hit that 2 racks. It got to a point like I grabbed my AirPods case and sat it on the dashboard in front of the thing so it cover up that light. Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't need these symbols popping up like this.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, but after when I got it looked at, yeah, they said, yeah, engine's pretty much done for. You're gonna have to get rid of this. So I
Okay.
after that I actually rented a car
Okay.
from Uber. I rented an electric car, and that was the next two was with the rental car, and then I got another Prius not too
Okay.
long ago.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. So this week that we're looking at right here is with the electric car.
yeah.
All right. Cool. And what Tesla or Polestar or something else?
It was a Kia Niro,
Okay.
and I would never get that car again.
Why do you say
Terrible
that?
experience. I mean, the car itself was fine, but
The charger.
it was just so inefficient.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, to charge it was slow. It took like an hour just to get it to 80%.
Hmm.
Then it'd be like another hour to get it to 100. So I never went to 100.
Yeah.
But that 80% only gave me like 200 miles in range.
Damn.
Which usually once I got to like about 40 miles left, it's like, all right, I got to start looking for a charging
Charger.
station because, the charging stations ain't like gas stations. So yeah, it was just that turned the 12-hour days into like sometimes 14, 15-hour days because I would have
Yeah.
to sometimes charge twice throughout the night.
Right.
That was like 2 hours extra that I had to go. So,
Damn.
and that never again would I do that.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go, man. It's like, that's part of the reason why I didn't go electric. It's not only the price, but just I'm like, damn, do I really want to allocate an hour, sometime maybe 2 hours a day just to charge, and
Right.
those hours add up.
Yeah, they
Because you
do.
could be spending. I mean, if you charge once or twice a day, that let's say once a day, if you drive every day, that's 7 hours. Twice, that's 14 hours a week. That
Yep.
spent
Just
charging.
charging.
You could get a lot of work done. So okay, so this is with the Kia. Oh, let's see. That's the next one. All right, bam.
Okay. Well, I think that one came before. That was the first one.
All right, yeah. They in
Yeah.
order, but and this was with the Kia as well.
Yep.
All right, so we see another $500 day on Sunday. So I assume that's a bonus of some sort.
Right. Because
64.
that's I only drove 64 hours that week.
Yeah, that's beautiful. 64 hours, 28 minutes, $2,081 right there. Yeah, so talk about that. I know, dang, it's probably kind of hard because it's like a month ago.
Yeah. I say it was, yeah, those two were,
I
it
see
was,
promotions 526. Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, it was nothing crazy. I'm sure it was just, that might have been a week where, well, then again, looking at the amount that I drove, I don't think so. I'm sure it was just that one promotion that hit on Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, it was nothing crazy that week because I can see that Tuesday and Wednesday I ain't really do nothing.
All right. Yeah. I think I got another one.
And then
And
yeah, that was last week.
this is last week, another $2,000 week. And look at that, no bonuses. I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, promotions $181. Yup. So you was getting it in 73 hours. Mm-hmm. Even with
Yeah.
a low Monday, you still killed it.
Right. Because basically I didn't drive Monday. Because again, I drive overnight. So that little bit that's there was from that Sunday the week before, like carrying over into that Monday morning.
Okay.
So yeah, one of these days I'm gonna catch a week where it's giving some promotions and I drive all 7 days, see how far I can run it up.
Exactly, man. And this is not even, getting, kicked off 12 hours every day, but, because I always say, like, if you want to know how much money you can make in your market, just drive till they kick you off the app. Just,
Yeah.
get a good start, drive till they kick you off the app, accept as many trips as possible, you will learn. But this goes to show you don't even have to drive. You got 73 hours right here, still made 2 racks. Right here, you got 64 hours, still made 2 racks, 74. And you said 79 this one for this one?
Yeah, I'm on 77.
Yeah. So we driving, less than 84 hours, still hitting the $2,000 mark. And, it's safe to say, 60 to 70 hours. So when people see this, 70 hours, what do you think they're going to say?
Yeah, it's just too much. Like, oh, I'm not trying to work that much. Like, oh, you have no life. All that good stuff.
And what would you say to them, like, with the people with that, particular mindset, like 73 hours, like, yeah, man, for 73 hours, you should have made about, 2,400. Like, I'm not gonna drive 73 hours just to make 2,000.
I mean, like I said, for me, I don't even think it's that bad because just the numbers, like, at least with what I calculated in my head, like when I accept rides, everything I take is usually no worse than like $25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically, I'm just looking at like, I'm basically making $25 an hour, like while I'm driving. And, majority of people out there not even making that.
Right.
So I'm just like, I can put these hours in. I don't mind because I'm like, if I'm not out here driving, chances are I'm just at home, like, either watching some anime or playing video games. I'm like, I could be making money. So
Right.
you just go out here and drive.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think this is my hypothesis. When people see, the 73 hours or whatever how many hours, I think what they do is mentally they pitch themselves at work at the job that they're currently at or that they were at, prior, and
Yeah.
they trying to pitch themselves working 73 hours there. Like, yeah, so if you're working at an Amazon warehouse or something and it's 73 hours, you be like, I can't do it. I feel that. I
Right. And I
definitely
can believe
understand
it too, because
that.
half my rides throughout the night be dropping people off and picking them up from Amazon. And
Yeah.
they be looking worn out by the time, ooh, I'm just ready to get home.
No, I can see that because I worked at an Amazon warehouse for a little bit. I'm like, shit, I can't. I mean, of course I can, but 10 hours there would suck.
Yeah, but
This is totally different
yeah, this
because,
is super easy. I just get in the car, just got my AirPods in. I'm just listening to music and podcasts. Like, I be
yep.
relaxed.
And let's say you get somebody that comes in, y'all, it's like a 20, 30 minute ride. Y'all having a good conversation. You be
Yep.
like, damn, man, the ride went by fast. Like,
Yep.
shit, that's 30 minutes right there. Then get somebody else come in. Next, an hour go by like this. It's not like, oh, you at
Exactly.
warehouse.
Yeah.
Here go a
Doing
package.
this.
Scan, put it in.
Yeah,
Another package. Scan, put in this.
yeah, doing this time has never like felt slow. Like
Yeah.
it's never just dragged out. It always goes by fast.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I don't mind it at all. I drive for 12 hours. The app will kick me off. I still feel fresh. Like by the time I get home, like I'm not
Yeah.
tired. And like I'm like, okay, well, you know, go do something else and be productive.
Yep. Absolutely, man. So, that's four different screenshots. 2000, 2000, 2000. So man, just imagine y'all just having these earnings 4 weeks in a row, just being consistent, being disciplined. Just imagine what this type of income, would do for do for your life and do boost your confidence. Yeah, that shit will feel good.
Yeah, definitely help because, like I said, I really wasn't looking for more than maybe like an extra little like 500 a week, something like that, and now it's jumping up to like 2,000. It's just like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Take it and you ever I'm pretty sure you cash out, put it to like what they call it? Exchange or use it for trading.
Um, yeah, so I'll have I don't know what the exact number is, but I have a certain amount like going to like my Roth IRA,
Okay.
and like I have a health savings account also.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, whatever's left, I'll make sure like all my bills and stuff are straight. And then yeah, anything's left, yeah, I can just toss it in my trading account.
Hell yeah,
So
man. Man with the plan, see? Like, oh, driving Uber, that's not a real job.
I mean, you make some real job money. So
Right. And
as
and
I
that's
feel
that's
like
the
I said,
truth.
I'm picking people up. They complaining about their job. Making $11 an hour and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, you can rent a car through Uber and make more than that.
Right.
So
Or even if they make it more than that, they still don't like their job. Most people don't.
right.
If
And
they if
like I
they was
said,
truly honest.
it's not that I particularly, care, for driving like that,
Right.
but again, it's so easy. Like I just don't care. Like it's not strenuous.
Right.
Cause that was the thing when I was working so much overtime, like at my job after Buddy got fired, like I was just starting to dread that place more and more.
Yeah, just to recap, what was your previous job again?
So I was basically working maintenance at this it was a warehouse. We made lottery tickets there. So
Okay.
like all the like scratch off lottery tickets and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we made there. So if you've ever bought, scratch offs, anything like that, it probably came from us.
Okay.
Um, but my job, I was basically maintenance. So we had like a bunch of lines that was like, running the tickets, and there were operators on the lines. If the lines started messing up, they would call me to come fix the lines.
Okay.
So that was my job, Buddy, got fired. So now I'm pretty much working like 5, 6 days a week, 12 hour shifts,
Mm-hmm.
doing that. But it was just starting to get frustrating because I'm like, recognizing like 90% of my job is just because the operator on the line ain't doing what they supposed to do.
Right.
They not paying attention and messing stuff up. Now I gotta come behind and fix it. So yeah, that joint was getting irritating. And you got a boss over your shoulder, like micromanaging you, stuff like that. And you get out the Uber, it ain't no boss, it's just you.
Yep.
You know, for me, because I know, I've heard you, talk about some people, don't have the motivation to get up and do this and stuff like that. For me, it's just like just get in the car and just press like, go online.
Mm.
The app take care of everything else. Just, you don't really have to do anything.
Right.
You just pick people up and drop them off. You ain't got to get out your car most of the time. Like it's just easy.
So,
And that
so,
peace of mind was like different.
so why do you think make it? I mean, people make it so difficult or complicate this.
Um, I, I think people just don't like to be held accountable. Like they just want to try to come up with an excuse so that they can, pretty much be a victim and say, "Oh, well, no, it's just life. I can't do anything." Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
But you take some accountability. You can't, give yourself excuses. You'll go out there and do it.
Right. Yeah,
So
exactly, man. You definitely have to hold yourself accountable. I also think people are just, frustrated with the results that they're getting in life. If they've been, struggling and, going through dealing with a lot, not getting the results that they're looking for, that
yeah,
unhappiness would just start to, set in, and that negativity will really start to eat at them. And, once they go to this, they're like, all right, now I get to drive, be my own boss. But they get excited when that alarm go off and it's time for them to execute. Then that's when they struggle.
yep,
That's when they get real. Like, I'm a snooze,
yeah,
I'm a snooze. Next, you're going out there at 8, 10 a.m. and it's slow. Then they be out there for 4 hours and they come home only made like $80. But oh man, you can't make no money. It's too much competition. Next, back to square one.
yeah, yeah. That's a yeah. For me, it's just hard to do that because I'm also kind of like a all or nothing kind of person. Like I don't like to just dabble a little bit. Like if I'm gonna do something, like I'm gonna go all the way.
Mhm.
And so that's why, when I heard, you saying, hey, after 12 hours, they kick you off the app. I'm like, okay, well, most of my working experience has been 12-hour shifts. So,
Yeah.
that's nothing. That's an easy transition.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why, yeah, if I cut the app on, I don't think I've ever cut the app on thinking I'm gonna only drive for like 8 hours or something like that. It's just like, no, I'm gonna just run it up.
Right.
There may have been once or twice, say, when I hit the 2 racks, I'm just like, yeah, I might be feeling a little tired. Like, let me just go home. But otherwise, no, I'm just, I got 2 more hours for this app kick me off. Like, well, when they say, like, oh, you got 2 hours and 14 minutes until
Yeah.
your drive time's up, like, yeah, let me just go ahead and run this out.
Right. Right.
It might be an extra, $50, $60. So,
Yeah, man. Man, it's like I said, it's easier than what people think. If you really just simplify it and actually try, you gotta. If you make the decision, you simplify it, you actually try. Eventually, you will get there. Especially if you like in a major
yeah.
city that has business, sporting teams, a airport. Like it should be somewhat easy to do it because you got all of those uh, checkpoints or bulletin points, working in your favor because there's so many boxes to check off on, which a lot of people are coming in for for business.
Yeah, I wish I could drive during the day, like early in the morning,
Hmm.
that time too, because I'd be seeing it. And because Uber's, sending little notifications like, oh, you might want to go online. Things are heating up right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I opened up the app, the whole city just red.
So let
I
me
was like,
check mine.
man, I'm missing out on everything right now. But
Right, right. It's that whole
but
city
nah, it's
just
cool.
red.
I could still hit the 2 racks driving overnight. Nah, I'm straight.
Yep. Yeah, a couple more questions. So, why do you think this challenge is so important?
Um, I think for a lot of people, yeah, just to test yourself,
Mm-hmm.
just to show yourself that you can do something like this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm not necessarily like new to doing things like this. Like I really like, challenging myself. Like I've run like ultra marathons before,
God damn.
um,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Like, well, I guess now, I do like Spartan races, things like that. Like I'm all for challenging myself. So
Okay.
for me, this was just another, let me just prove to myself I can do this
Mm.
also. So got out there, did it the second week. I was like, really driving. Like, okay, this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for people to, yeah, push themselves, because, I know most people aren't used to, working for 12 hours straight,
Right.
doing things like that. And, because especially being a personal trainer too, like a lot of people they're just not aware of how hard they can actually push or how much you're actually capable of. And so there's something like once you unlock that and then you realize like, oh, I can go so much further than I thought I could.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, okay, well now how far can I go?
Right.
Not just whether, I was able to hit this, 2 racks. Like, I wonder if I could hit 2,500. Like, let me see if I could do that.
Right.
The whole mindset changes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Nah,
because I
you
think something like this is huge.
yeah, you 100% right. Challenging yourself because, like you said earlier, it gets you to unlock, like a better version of yourself. Because, we all know mostly they don't challenge themselves, man. Like you see on a daily basis, people they only want to work 8 hours, sometimes less than that. Then they come home and just squander a bunch of time. Most people don't even exercise regularly, so it's just no challenge. They want
Yeah,
a
that's
soft, easy life, and they start to get complacent and not realizing that they selling themselves short.
yeah, exercise. I know you was talking about that with Buddy from last time. Like, yeah, exercise is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I be seeing people, my age, even younger, be like, oh, I'm 32. I be seeing people, it's like, 26, 27, pick something off the ground, like holding their back as they stand up. And I'm like, dog, you too young to be moving like this. So yeah,
Right.
definitely get in the gym, people.
Or
Like, just
even
stay in
yeah,
shape.
or even at the airport, people getting out the car and they got the big bellies. They got to kind of
Yeah.
wiggle their way out. I'm
It's
like,
bad. I be
man,
having some people get in my car like that.
yeah,
And I'll just be sitting here like, I hope you can figure it out because I'm not about to help you.
right. Yeah, you just sit there
uh,
and watch, and they grabbing like the little rail in the back. You like, damn, it's not even meant for that. Like you pulling it. Like, come on, like it's just some type of device. Like it's meant to for overweight people to be tugging to help you get out the car. I'm like, I just always think like, man, I hope this person don't
yeah.
pull my
Or,
damn
I've
handle out.
even, seen somebody just walking from their door to my car. They get in the car, breathing hard the whole time. I'm like, dog, like that should be a sign, like, something needs to change. You shouldn't be tired from that little walk.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. Or the worst is like once you about to pick them up. Let's say they're on the opposite side of the street, and they'll be like, I'm like, damn, like you can't walk across the street. I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
stuff, especially here, because, I don't know if you've ever driven in Atlanta, but like in the city, like it's a bunch of like just one-way
One ways,
streets.
yeah.
It's a bunch
Okay.
of one-way streets, and it might be a situation like I gotta stop on this. It's a one-way street. It's one lane. It's actually traffic coming through here. They in
Right.
a restaurant on the opposite side. They ain't even
Yeah.
outside. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't
that's how it
just
was
sit
in
right
San
here. Now
Francisco.
I'm
Yep.
blocking traffic. I gotta
Hmm.
like keep doing
People are
loops till
blowing the
you come
horn.
out, man. But yeah, them sitting there like doing like that. Fortunately, most people that I've had, like, they'll see me, they'll walk across the street.
Right.
I'll be like, thank you, because that'd have been hell trying to like get
Right.
to the other side. But
And the thing that bothers me is like if you live in a city with one way streets and you about to go out for entertainment, whatever the case may be, you're going to cross the street. So don't act brand new now. Just get across the street. Stop
right,
acting dumb.
like, how this is. But yeah, there's some people, yeah, just feel entitled like that. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it
that's
is what it is. Just get through the ride. It's only gonna be, 15, 20 minutes. I ain't gonna see them no more. It's all
right.
good.
Right. And one
But
last I guess yeah, any last words or piece of advice for people who are new, who haven't made 2 racks a week, or people who's like, man, I've been watching these videos on the internet, or I've been watching, Ronnie Speed and the 2 racks a week winners. I want to do this. Like any words of advice for the newcomers.
like you said before, learn your market. Just once you understand the market, you'll know, what cities, are straight to hit around like what times, what cities to avoid, or things to avoid whenever. Another thing, because one complaint I get from passengers all the time, from other, cars that they've been in, keep your car clean. Like,
I knew
If
that was
there's one
coming.
complaint from passengers I've heard a lot, it's just people just having nasty cars.
Mm.
Yeah, just keep your car clean. Because I had one woman the other day. It seemed like a really nice lady, but once she got to talking about this ride she had been in before, it just started just cussing up a storm. And she was saying car was so messy she couldn't even like sit back all the way in the seat. She had to
Damn.
like lean forward. It was so much junk in there.
Damn.
I'm just like, how are people riding around like this? Like, I feel like if I make one little mistake, Uber trying to kick me off the app. But it's
Right.
people out here just doing the craziest of
Yeah,
stuff.
they don't care. They
Cause
don't
she said
care.
one person even picked her up. He was drunk and driving. I'm just like, dog, there's no way. But yeah,
Yeah.
keep your car clean. People will appreciate that so much. Get you them little air freshener things you can sit in the vent, keep your car smelling straight.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and that's it. Cause like I said, people appreciate a clean car. You don't have to go out of your way to talk to people, but if they talk, obviously engage,
Hmm.
you know, and then I guess that'll help, your tips a little bit.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure. And also, be patient, man. That's like going to
yeah,
be like probably one of the biggest lessons that you're going to learn, from driving is your level of patience. Because it's going to be times where you're going to want to just snap on somebody and go off or just leave them. Like for instance, I picked somebody up from the airport today. They added a stop. I'm like, whatever. They want to go to a dispensary. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna be waiting for this person for like a minute. So it was two of them. One went in, like his girl stayed in the car, like whatever. So it took 24 minutes for like, so I'm just waiting for 24 minutes, but I'm like, I'm not tripping. I'm just gonna wait because I'm almost done. So I'm just chilling on my phone. Dropped him off. He gave me $20 cash, and they tipped me $20 cash on the app. So that whole ride was like $50.
yeah, I had a dude like that. I don't think I've ever been so mad giving a ride. It was some gay dude. So I
Uh-huh.
picked him up from one bar. He wanted to go to another bar. So I had dropped him off at the bar. Everything was cool. Went on about my way doing my thing. I had another ride back at that same bar. It was
Yeah.
him. So he was just like, "Oh, it's you again. Okay, great." Da da da. And he wanted to stop by. He wanted to stop by this racetrack to like get him some cigarettes, something like that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, we stop at the racetrack. Dude is in there for like 10 minutes. I'm like looking in the store, like just watching him, like just pace back and forth. I'm like, what are you doing? And like 10 minutes later, he eventually came out and he's like, okay, well, can you take me, to this other place? I'm sure they're still open. My friend, he runs this bar, da da da. All right. So we go, drop him off at this place or go to the place. Place ain't open. So he's like, oh man, this is so frustrating. Like, do you mind waiting a minute? I just really need to smoke a cigarette. And just jumped out the
Oh,
car. Jumped out the car, left his stuff in my car. He done
yep.
walked around the side of the building like he's smoking a cigarette. I'm like, really? So I'm like, at this point, like, we ain't even on a ride no more. Like, so I'm just sitting here, like, he got his stuff in here. It's like cigarettes scattered all over my backseat.
Yep.
Like, I'm just honking the horn. Like, dog, I was really about to just grab his stuff, sit it on the concrete, and just like leave.
Yeah.
But a couple minutes later, like, he came back, and I'm just like, dog, don't ever do that again. Like, you can't just be doing stuff like this. He had me take him somewhere else. Um, yeah, he had me take him, just drop him off at another gas station, but he went and got cash out the ATM there. He ended up giving me like $20, on top of that, which was more than what I would have got had he actually just, did a regular ride and not dropped him off. So I was like, it came out worth it,
Yeah.
to do it in the end. But yeah, I was hot.
Yeah, man, and stuff like that. It does. It really irritates you, man. It's like, damn, where's your consideration? But I always think about, all right, man. Hopefully, if they a reasonable person and they have some type of perspective and appreciation, they should compensate me for
Yeah.
for the
And
inconvenience and my time.
that's something usually because a lot of people ask me, if I get, like if I have to deal with like a lot of drunk people, stuff like that, because I drive overnight. So, I'll
Yeah.
be picking people up from bars. And it's like, yeah, about half the time, it'll be a good mix of like, people drunk, leaving the bar, going to, bars or clubs or like strippers. There's a lot of
Oh
strip clubs
yeah.
out here
Oh
too.
yeah.
But it's like, usually those people, they might be drunk, but them be the ones that tip the most.
Oh,
Because a
okay.
lot of times, especially if they know that they, doing something like, oh yeah, I'm sorry to inconvenience you, da da da. Like they just be throwing money. So
Yeah.
I just be like, all right, like I'll take it. But yeah, most of the drunk people that I get, everything's cool because they usually get in the car. We on the road for like 30 seconds. They in the back, like knocked out.
Knocked
So
out.
I'm like, all right, yeah, this an easy trip. Like a lot of times, yeah, I gotta wake them up when we get there,
I
and
know.
some of them be like
Slump.
out, like I'm honking the
Shaking them.
horn, like shaking them, like they still not waking up. And then when they do that, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just, just get out like nothing happened.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
hilarious, man.
yeah,
So
that definitely be interesting. But yeah, I don't get anybody like crazy or nothing bad like what everybody be complaining about on the news and stuff.
yeah,
So
like most of
fortunately,
the
I ain't had
time,
to do.
yeah, most of the time you shouldn't get those people. And also I think a lot of people don't really discuss. I think it's ways to escalate stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
That's where patience come in because you want to be patient, you want to be as rational as possible because passengers, one, most people don't have self control. So any little thing they'll blow up and they ready to snap. So you have to be, the patient one, the rational, reasonable one to kind of diffuse the situation as best as possible. Is because a lot of people they feel like if they paying money that they feel entitled to complain, and everybody's quick to fucking tell. Like everybody want to tell, especially women. They want to tell, and oh well, I'm gonna get you fired. Like
Yeah,
why?
it's especially, and it'll be a situation where say they put the wrong address in the app, and now they mad at me because we not at their location or where they supposed to be. I'm like, look, I was just following what you put in here.
Yeah,
Oh well, this
exactly.
this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be, going to this place. I'm like, did you put that in the app? But yeah, yeah,
Yes.
that's a big one though. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, patience definitely.
Yeah, patience and
To not escalate situations because that's one of my biggest fears like doing this where I get a situation like that just escalates and now like I'm sure you've seen people go through that where you got somebody like irate in your car,
yeah,
you trying to end the ride, they don't want to get out, so now you got to deal with the police and stuff like that's my biggest fear. Like I don't ever want that to happen.
right. Yeah, most time I don't deal with that, and that's where, like I said, just just diffusing situation. If they escalate, just kind of mellow them down. Not uh like raising your voice or you getting triggered and getting mad too, and like oh get out, because you don't want to go through all that because people are petty and
Yeah,
liars, and they'll just go to the greatest length to try to to fuck you over something that's so small and dumb. It's because it's
yeah,
a disagreement. They don't want to get out the car. They'll say like, "Oh well, he was drunk" or something to try to fuck you over. So just be
yeah. I
careful of
think
that.
I had that happen to me before. It wasn't over like a dispute or anything, but I think somebody tried to like get over on that. I think it was like my very first day driving that happened because I didn't know whether to drive Lyft or Uber.
Hmm.
So I was just like, I'm gonna do one day on Lyft, one day on Uber. Let me compare the two. So I drove on Lyft and I just noticed I'm like, wow, like nobody talks. Like I really don't even remember having any conversation like with anybody that day I drove Lyft. Like everybody was quiet.
Hmm.
There's like one girl I can remember. But then the next day when I woke up, I had like 12 messages from Lyft. I'm
Damn.
like, the hell they messaging me for? And I look at it, it's like customer support trying to get a hold of me because apparently somebody complained that like I had made an inappropriate comment and asked for, like sensitive information or something like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what? Like when did that? I'm like, nobody even spoke. I didn't talk to anybody. Like, how did that happen? And so after that, I just told myself, like, yeah, I'm gonna just leave Lyft alone because y'all seem real trigger happy to like ban people.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing is because, people, they just unhappy and they forget at the end of the day when they would make a comment like you risking somebody not working. Like, let's say even if I don't like somebody or don't like their personality, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this person a 1 star. Most time I
Yeah, just
forget.
give them
By the
right.
time
Just
the
give
ride
them.
over, I forget.
Yep.
I'm like, oh shit, damn, I forgot. But oh well. But even that, like, that's the most I would do. I don't think I ever called support and reported somebody.
Yeah. No, I definitely haven't.
Like, I don't have time. I don't feel like going through that. And I'm like, man, just get in, get out, whatever. Then it's like I've done so many trips. I don't even care no more. Like, all right, get out.
Yeah.
Like, so nothing really
I don't
shocks
know if
me
I'm
or
ever get
bothers
to
me
that
at this
many
point.
trips because I think right now
Yeah,
I might be at like 1,500. Like I haven't really done much at all.
yeah.
Like compared to some OGs like you.
All the shit, man. That's good because the point is not to stay here long term, but
True.
you know any last closing words before we get up out of here?
Um, I can't really think of nothing else. Anybody who's watching and wondering if you can do it, hey, just get out there and do it.
Yep. Yeah, just get out there. Just get out there and do it, man. Like you see, I think you probably like 108, so we're getting close to 110. Uh, shit, people who made 2 racks. I think 109 Uber drivers or 107 Uber drivers or so, Uber and Lyft drivers. So y'all could definitely do it. That's all
Yeah.
I gotta say, man. Because it's 100, 108, 107 interviews. So how can you disagree with that from different markets? From
Right.
2022 to even in 2025, when people saying it's no money out there, it's no competition, they were saying the same shit a few years ago, and yet still here making 2 racks. So yeah, how bad do you want it? You know?
Yeah, and I guess yeah, get in while you can because I know Uber now starting to bring in these like those like automatic cars
Right.
because they got them in Atlanta now. I be seeing them every now and then while I'm driving. And I'm just like, oh, we getting kind of close. We might only have a few more years for this just take over.
Right.
So yeah, get it while you can.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, man. Shout out to ATL once
Yes,
again.
sir.
When I got I know I keep saying this, but I've been busy. So whenever I got some time, I'm gonna have to go through the interviews and see which markets are in the leaderboard. So so be in tune for that. I'll probably make a video about that. Hopefully, yeah, within the next couple weeks or so. But other than that, another winner of the 2 racks a week challenge, man. Until next time, drum roll, guitar, piano,
Yes, sir.
violin. Peace.
Racks a week. Ronnie Speed. Yeah, Ronnie Speed. 60 hours.